I'm Susan, and I'm leading your class. And this is a comeback yoga class. It's a level 2 class. It's based on the form of sun salutation. So we'll be moving a little more vigorously than a level 1 class and perhaps a little more quickly. We'll do planks and boats and work on core strength. We'll work on balance, twisting, back bends, forward folds, all the stuff that we normally do in a yoga class. And we'll warm up and then we'll move through those forms and then we'll move to seated. We'll do twists and stretching, and then we'll have a period of relaxation at the end. So pretty simple. Follow along. Don't do anything that you don't feel like doing, and do things that you do feel like doing. So if there's a variation that you know that you want to try that I don't suggest, you can do that. And if there's something that you don't feel like doing, you can always skip it, leave it out, change it. I encourage you to really pay attention to your own body and to your own practice, and to focus on your well-being during our time together. I'm going to head back to my mat. I'm going to turn to the side, left and right occasionally. So you might see me turn and go from one end of the mat to the other end of the mat. You can just stay in your own configuration. You don't have to follow me that exactly. I'm turning so you can see one side and then the other side, just in case you're wondering. Okay, get that out of the way. So let's start in the at the top of the mat, and you can walk your feet out towards the short edges of your mat and the long edges of your mat, and bring your hands together in front of your chest. And start to inhale and exhale. Of course, you've been inhaling and exhaling this whole time, but notice your inhales and your exhales. And you're pressing your left hand against your right hand against your left hand, to notice the connection of your left side and your right side. You might press a little more firmly and feel your chest, feel your back and your shoulders. You might feel each individual finger. You can kind of press your thumbs together, your index fingers together, your middle fingers together, your ring fingers together, and your pinkies together. Start to encourage your breath to be a little deeper, a little more expansive. Start to bend your knees a little bit and sink your weight into your heels. Slightly tuck your tailbone and pull your face back. And coming into standing position now, slowly start to drop your arms by your sides. Let your hands come apart and turn your palms forward. This is mountain pose. Look straight ahead. As you breathe, start to lift and lower your chest a little bit. Inhale to stand up a little bit, and exhale to sink into your pose a little bit. It's subtle. Inhale to stand, roll open your chest. Exhale to sink, bend your knees a little, tuck your tailbone. One more time, inhale to stretch, and now let your arms come out to the sides. Turn your gaze past your right fingers. Exhale, arms come down, sink in, bend your knees a little. Inhale to lift, your arms out to T, straighten your legs, straighten your spine. Turn your gaze past your left hand. Exhale, bend your knees a little, bring your arms back down by your sides. Now bring the arms all the way up overhead. Inhale to lift and stretch up overhead. Exhale and release your arms back down by your sides. Bring your hands back together in front of your chest. Shift the weight onto your right foot. Come on the toes of the left foot and try lifting your left toes off the floor. Keep pressing your right hand into your left hand. Notice our tendency when we balance to hold our breath and keep breathing. Nice work. Both feet firm. Sit down into chair pose. Move your weight back into your heels. Move your sit bones back. Inhale to stand tall. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Come on the toes of your right foot. Let your arms dangle down by your sides and lift your right toes off the floor. You could always keep your right toes down. You're standing on one leg either way, shifting the weight. Breathe. Notice if this side seems different than the other side. Notice our tendency to hold our breath. Breathe. Nice work. Both feet down, hands together in front of your chest, and sit down into chair pose. Inhale to reach up overhead, upward salute. Exhale, bring your arms out to T, turn your palms down, and let's hinge forward. You come forward halfway. Your torso becomes parallel to the floor or a little bit higher than that. Keep your knees bent to keep a long spine. Breathe and breathe. Slowly let your hands drift down towards the fronts of your legs or down towards the floor. And lean your hips left and right. Stretch out your backs of your legs, the sides of your body. Bend your knees, tuck your tailbone, roll yourself up to stand. Bring your hands together in front of your chest. Inhale to reach up and out. Exhale, turn your palms down and hinge forward. Take your left hand over toward your right knee. Bend your right knee. Your right hand comes to your right hip and turn and look past your right shoulder. Bend both of your knees. Inhale to lift your torso. Sweep your arms out to T. Exhale, hinge forward. Take your right hand across over towards your left knee, your left hand to your left hip, bend into your left knee and lean over towards the left. Legs come back, center yourself, arms come out to T, bend both knees. Inhale to lift up, strong legs, long spine. Reach all the way over and connect your palms. Exhale, bring your hands down through the center line of your body and sit down into chair pose. Inhale to reach up and out. Exhale, turn your palms down and hinge forward. Inhale to reach forward this time, stretch forward. Exhale to hinge forward in a little bit wider legged forward fold. You can walk your feet a little bit wider, let your head roll around, and lean one side and the other side. You don't have to lean all the way over in this forward fold. You could have your hands on the tops of your legs if you don't want your head to come all the way down that way. Or maybe you want to take a little more time stretching out. Find the level, the height of forward fold that seems appropriate for you right now. And your breath will tell you all kinds of things. Your breath will speed up and get perhaps a little labored or strained. And when you notice that, maybe you make a change or a shift to accommodate. Bring yourself through center, bend your knees a lot, tuck your tailbone, roll yourself up to stand. Get used to standing tall. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Put your hands together in front of your chest and sink down into wide-legged chair. And stand tall. Sweep your arms out to the sides, stretch across your chest. Exhale, bring your arms out in front of you. Pick up your left heel and step your left foot back behind you. Bend into your front knee and lift your arms overhead. So your palms just press together. That's one way to do it. You could also interlace your fingers and release your index fingers, pointer fingers up, or you could have your arms spread a little bit, hands have maybe 1 or 2 feet in between them. So lift, lengthen, stretch, breathe. Sweep your arms down by your sides and step together, top of the mat. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hands together in front of your chest, sit down into chair pose. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hinge forward, swan dive forward, hang forward in your forward fold. Roll your head around, bend one knee and the other knee. Then take your hands to the fronts of your legs, lengthen through your spine. Your back of your neck is long. Bend your knees, come up, strong legs, long spine, hands together in front of your chest. Shift your weight into your left foot and step your right foot back. Take your arms overhead in one of those configurations, palms together, interlaced fingers with released index fingers, or arms apart. You're lifting Stretching your back heel, plants down, your front knee bends right over your front ankle. Try to pull the mat apart a little bit with your feet, warming up and strengthening your legs, your balance, your core strength, lifting. Nice job. Sweep your arms down behind you, step together, top of the mat, and sit down into chair pose. Inhale to reach, stand tall. Exhale, hinge forward. Take your hands down towards the mat and let's step back into plank. Plank looks like a push-up. So you're holding, suspending yourself above the floor with your straight arms, your straight legs. Breathe here. And then hinge at your hips. Let your hips move up and back into downward facing dog. You make a triangle with your body for downward facing dog. Lift and lower your heels. Spread out your fingers. Spread out the palms of your hands. And move your head around. And notice here your breath. Notice your inhales and your exhales. And let yourself stretch out with your exhales. Get a little energy perhaps with your inhales. And start to walk your feet forward towards your hands. Come all the way forward. Hang forward in your forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to chair pose with your arms overhead. Stand tall, reach up. Exhale, hinge forward. Come forward, plant your hands down. Shift your weight on your right foot. Step your left foot back. Left heel comes down. And lift into warrior two. Warrior two opens to the side, extending from your chest out through your fingertips. Turn your palms up, bend your elbows slightly. Try to pull the mat apart with your feet in this configuration. Strengthening legs, finding your balance, letting your weight shift a little forward and back until you find the spot where your rib cage is right over your pelvis. Your weight is evenly parsed between your front and your back. Exhale, cartwheel down, hands to the floor, step back to plank. Looks like a push-up. Now you might have your knees, one or both knees down. You might be on your fists because hands flat on the floor can be maybe not the best for you. You might be on your forearms. So you have different options available to you in plank. Now we'll all knees come down, lower down onto your stomach. Slide your hands next to your chest. Point your toes, tuck your tailbone, and lift your rib cage. And your nose is pointing down towards the mat, maybe a foot in front of your nose, kind of forward and down. The neck is long. Try breathing here and now. Lengthen a little bit more and try floating your hands just an inch or two off the floor. Keep breathing here in cobra pose. And let your hands come down. Tuck your toes. Push yourself onto your knees. Move your hips back toward your heels. Stretching out through the front side of your body, the back side of your body. Inhale to lift up and float your knees coming into downward facing dog. And then look forward between your thumbs and step or walk or hop forward, top of the mat. Inhale to half lift, exhale to chair pose, arms overhead. Stand tall, reach up. Hands together in front of your chest. Shift your weight onto your left foot, your right foot steps back. Coming into warrior two on this side. Your front knee's bent, your back leg's long. You can move your torso forward and back and find the spot where you're square, shoulders over hips. And we'll hold this for a little while. So you might deepen this pose by just noticing more. You might deepen this pose by scooching your feet a little bit wider, bending into the front knee deeper, leaning forward and back more by pulling up and in at your arches and lifting your inner, the core. Keep breathing. One more inhale and exhale here in warrior two. And turn your gaze forward past your left hand and cartwheel down. Stepping back to plank, once again, your front foot becomes your matching your foundation leg. And dome your upper back a little bit. You can let your heels glide over to one side and glide over to the other side, and rotating on the balls of your feet. Then lower yourself down onto your stomach. This time bend your knees up, bring your heels up toward your hips, and take your hands on either side of your chest and softly lift your torso just a little. Your hands stay on the floor as support. Back, the neck is long. You're looking forward and down on your mat. And lower down. Tuck your toes. Push yourself onto your knees. Tuck your legs underneath you. Hips move back toward the heels. And this is resting pose. You can come here anytime you want during any period. You can choose any resting position. This is one of the ones that you might choose. Let's lift up, tuck your toes under, straighten your legs into downward facing dog. And once again, we'll walk forward. Take your time in downward facing dog. And then when you're ready, you can walk, hop, or step forward, top of the mat, walking your feet forward. Inhaling to half lift, your torso is parallel to the floor, sitting back into chair pose with your arms overhead. Inhaling to lift and stand tall. Exhaling, hands together in front of your chest. Now inhale to reach up. Exhale, hinge forward. Hang forward and forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to chair pose. Inhale to stand tall. Exhale, hands together in front of your chest. Shift your weight into your right foot. Your left foot steps back into warrior one. Inhaling, arms overhead, reach up. Exhaling, let's find a twist. Your hands come back past your, over toward your right shoulder, and turn your gaze past your right shoulder. Untwist to reach overhead. Exhale, hands down. Step back to one-legged plank. So your right leg floats. Give yourself a moment. Both feet down. Lower yourself down onto your belly. Knees bend. Sweep your hands back towards your heels, this time your ankles. You could wrap your fingers around the fronts of your ankles if your arms do that. And you could move your heels away from your hips and lift your chest. You could also reach your hands back towards your heels and your heels towards your hands. Breathe here on your belly. Lower down. Legs long, hands on either side of your chest. Push yourself onto your knees. Move your hips back toward your heels. Straighten your legs, tuck your toes. Lengthen your spine in downward facing dog. And then step, hop, or walk forward. Top of the mat. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to chair pose. Stand tall, reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring your hands together in front of your chest. Pause for a moment. Inhale and exhale. And shift your weight onto your left foot. Your right foot steps back. Warrior one, sweeping arms overhead. Exhaling to twist and turn. Look past your left shoulder. Untwist, reach overhead. Exhale, hands down. Your front leg floats back behind you in one-legged plank. Hold here for a breath or two. And both feet down. Lower yourself down onto your stomach, bend your knees, reach your hands back towards your feet. You might hook your fingers around your ankles and lift yourself into bow pose, or you might reach your fingers back towards your feet and your feet towards your hands and lift your chest in bow pose. It's all bow pose. You might have one leg down and one leg bent. It's all bow pose. Choose one that works best for you. Release your grip if you had one. Hands on either side of the chest. Push yourself onto your knees. Move your hips back toward your heels. Tuck your toes and lengthen your legs, coming back into your downward facing dog. So give yourself a couple of moments in your downward facing dog. Breathe here. Pedal out your feet. Okay, let's add a thing to our transition. Right leg stretches back behind you. For a three-legged dog, bend your knee and open and stack. Right hip over left. You can look underneath your right arm. Then square your hips, curl your right knee underneath you, and step your right foot forward in between your hands. Back heel comes down, and lift into warrior two. Let's add a position here, straightening the front leg and hinging forward into triangle. So this is triangle here. Look at all these options. All kinds of triangles. Keep pulling the floor apart with your feet a little bit to your mat. Inhale to lift. Exhale, push forward, back heel dials up, step together. Inhale to reach up, exhale to hinge forward. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to chair pose. Stand tall, reach up, and bring your hands together in front of your chest. Inhale to reach to the ceiling, exhale to hinge forward. Roll your head around, pedal out your feet. Bend your knees, tuck your tailbone, roll yourself up to stand, bring your hands together in front of your chest, shift your weight onto your left foot, step your right foot behind you. Warrior one, sweeping the arms overhead. Exhaling to twist, looking past your left shoulder. Inhale to untwist and reach up. Exhale, hands down. One-legged plank. Both feet down. Lower yourself down onto your stomach. Bow pose. Any variation. One leg bent, both legs bent. Hands reaching or hands holding towards your feet. Take a moment or two to pause in this position. Lowering down. Hands press. Push yourself into resting pose. Hips moving back toward the heels. Lifting up. Straightening your legs into downward facing dog. So we're adding on to the transition. Your left leg comes back behind you. Left knee bends. Open and stack. Left hip over right. And turn your gaze underneath your left arm. Square your hips. Curl your left knee underneath you. Step your left foot forward in between your hands. Back heel comes down. And lift yourself into warrior two. So find your warrior. Refine your warrior. Front leg bends a little more. Back leg lengthens a little more. And we'll find a different pose, adding on the triangle. And the triangle might have a lot of different configurations. Let's check out different arms. Inhale to lift up. Nice job. Rotate your torso forward. Back heel dials up. Step together, top of the mat. Inhale to reach. Exhale, hinge forward, hang forward in your forward fold. Roll your head around. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to chair pose. Stand tall, reach up, and bring your hands together in front of your chest. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale to half lift. Plant your hands down. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Left foot steps back. Lift into warrior one. Choose your arms. Reach, lengthen. Exhale to twist past your front bent knee. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hands down, one-legged plank. Pause here for a moment. And then lower down. You can do the half lower if you like. Lower halfway to plank and then lengthen your arms in upward facing dog. If that's something you do in your practice, otherwise you can lower down onto your stomach and find bow pose. Lifting your chest, bending your knees in some way. Lowering down, hands on the floor. Pushing yourself onto your knees, tucking your legs underneath your body. Stretching out your low back. Lifting into downward facing dog. Pedaling your feet. Breathing steadily, your right leg stretches back, right knee bends, open and stack. Right hip over left. Square your hips, curl your right knee underneath you, step it forward in between your hands, back heel comes down, lifting into warrior two. Straightening into triangle, any variation of triangle that you like. Inhale to lift. Exhale, push forward, your back heel dials up, and let's step forward into eagle pose. Your back leg comes forward, floats over the front leg, and everything wraps around. Your arms wrap around, left arm wraps underneath right, left leg wraps over right, and sit down. You can stay pretty high. You could have your toes down on the floor to give yourself a deeper twist of your arms and your legs around each other. Unwrap your arms and legs. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hinge forward. Hang forward in your forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to chair pose. Stand tall and bring your hands together in front of your chest. Pause for a moment. Gaze straight ahead. Breathe. Notice how your breath is changed, or if it is. Inhale to reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinge forward. Hang your head, bend your knees. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to chair pose. Inhale to reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale to hinge forward. Plant your hands. Shift the weight onto your left foot. Your right foot steps back, lifting into warrior one. You can use whatever arm configuration you like. Exhaling into the twist, turning and looking past your left shoulder. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hands down, one-legged plank. And one-legged plank is an option. You have both feet down, if you like, or both knees down. Both feet down. Knees down, hips drag back toward the heels. Sliding forward onto your belly. Coming into bow pose. Heels reach towards the hands, hands reach towards the heels. If you're holding on, you're lifting your chest, perhaps lifting your thighs. Releasing down, planting the hands, pushing yourself into plank, then into downward facing dog. Your left leg stretches back, left knee bends, open and stack, left hip over right. Square your hips, curl your left knee underneath you, step your left foot forward. Back heel comes down, and lift yourself into warrior two. Straightening all of your limbs into triangle. Inhale to lift. Rotate forward towards the short edge of the mat, back heel dials up. We're stepping forward into eagle pose. So your right leg crosses over your left, sit down. Right arm crosses underneath left, sit down a little more. Breathe. Unwrap your arms, unwrap your legs. Stand firm on 2 feet. Inhale to reach. Exhale to hinge forward. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to chair pose. Stand tall and hands together in front of your chest. Take big, full, soft, easeful breaths. As you stand more still, notice your heart rate, notice your respiration rate. Let your toes spread out a little bit. Let's inhale to reach. Exhale to hinge forward. Left leg steps back. Lift into warrior one. Any arms. Exhaling into twist, looking past your right shoulder. Inhaling to reach. Let's add on tilting forward. Torso comes on the inside of the front leg. Arms reach up towards the ceiling. Inhale to sweep the arms overhead. Lift up. Exhale, plant the hands. And one-legged plank. You can lower yourself down to any back bend. You can do the half plank and then lift into upward facing dog. You can come down onto your stomach and do the cobra. You can do the bow pose. Choose your back bend. You can tuck your legs underneath you. Let your hips move back toward your heels. And we'll all finish in downward facing dog. Your right leg stretches back in a three-legged dog. Bend your knee, open and stack. Look underneath your right arm. Square your hips. Curl your right knee underneath you. You can assist it forward with your hand like this. Step forward. Back heel comes down. And lift into warrior two. Straightening into triangle. Tilting. Inhaling to lift, push forward, back heel dials up. We're stepping into eagle pose. Left leg comes forward and crosses. Left arm comes underneath right arm and sink down. And then we'll move into tree. Straighten your standing leg. Your left foot comes on the inside of your right lower leg and take your arms up into the air. Hands together in front of your chest, both feet firm. Inhale to reach up, exhale to hinge forward. Inhale to half lift, exhale to chair pose. And stand tall, hands together in front of your chest. Inhale, reach to the ceiling. Exhale, reach to the floor. Right foot steps back, lift into warrior one. Exhale to twist, turning towards left. Inhale to reach up, exhale to hinge forward. Your torso comes on the inside of your front leg. Your head drops down, your arms reach up. Inhale to lift into warrior one. Exhale to glide into one-legged plank. Both feet down. Lower yourself onto your belly and do any back bend. I'm doing bow pose today, but you might do a different back bend if you wish. Cobra, Sphinx pose, upward facing dog. Release down, hands down. You can tuck your legs underneath you for a little rest. And we'll move into downward facing dog whenever you're ready. Pedaling your feet, rolling your head, lengthening your spine. Left leg stretches back, left knee bends. Open and stack. Left hip over right. Square your hips, curl your left knee underneath you. You can assist it forward if you like. Back heel comes down and sweep. Open into warrior two. Straightening into triangle. Inhaling to lift. Exhaling, back heel dials up, stepping forward. Take as many steps as you want to into eagle pose. Right leg over left leg, right arm under left arm. Unwrap, coming into tree pose. Sole of your right foot from the inside of your left leg. And stand tall. Reach up. Hinge forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, chair pose. Stand tall. Let your arms drift back down by your sides. Bring your hands together in front of your chest. Inhale to reach to the ceiling. Exhale to hinge toward the floor. Left foot steps back. Lift the torso. Warrior one. Warrior one with a twist, turning past your right shoulder. Inhale to lift. Warrior one with a hinge forward. Head drop down, arms sweep up. Inhale to lift. Looking your gaze between your hands. Exhale, hands down, one-legged plank. Both feet down. Lower yourself onto your belly. Reaching back, bending your knees. Lifting into bow. Release down. Pressing into resting position. And stretching into downward facing dog. Right leg back, right knee bends, open and stack. Square your hips, curl your right knee underneath you, step forward. Back heel down. Lift into warrior two. Straightening into triangle. Tilting and stretching. Inhale to lift. Exhale to push forward. Back heel dials up. Stepping into eagle pose. Left leg crosses over right. Left arm comes underneath right. And sit down any amount. Lift into tree pose. Arms overhead. Hands together in front of your chest. Step together. Inhale to lift. Exhale to hinge forward. Shifting the weight, left foot steps back, or right foot steps back, and lift into warrior one. Exhale into twist, twisting towards the left. Inhale to reach. Exhale to hinge forward. Arms reach up towards the ceiling. Inhale to sweep up. Exhale into one-legged plank. Both feet down. Take a rest. Come forward into any back bend. I'm practicing bow pose. You could be in upward facing dog. You could be in cobra. You could be in sphinx pose. You could be in cow pose. Release down, plant your hands, gliding into downward facing dog. Left leg back, left knee bends. Open and look past your left shoulder, past your left arm. Square your hips, step forward. Lifting into warrior two. Expanding into triangle. Lifting your torso, pushing forward, back heel dials up, stepping into eagle pose. Just cross your arms around each other, cross your legs around each other, and sit down. Stand tall into tree pose with arms outstretched. Exhale, hands together in front of your chest. Pause for a moment. Notice your breath. Point your fingers down. Follow your arms down towards the mat. Hang forward. And step, hop, or walk back into plank position. And we'll hold plank for 3 breaths. And tuck your legs underneath you. Hips move back, curl in resting position. Come up to seated. Take your legs out in front of you. Stick your legs out in front of you. Hold on to the backs of your knees and bring your thighs in toward your chest. It's just a direction. And encourage your shin bones to come parallel to the floor. You can keep holding on with your legs, or you can stretch your arms forward. Into the boat. Nice job. Stretch your left leg forward. Your right knee comes out to the side. Angle your legs out to a little bit wider V and let your left hand come down. Stretch down in the direction of your left foot and hold on wherever your hand comes. Hold on to the top of your leg. Now you might have long arms and it might feel comfortable to wrap your fingers around the bottom of your foot, or maybe your hand is wrapped around the top of your thigh. It doesn't matter. Just connecting your upper body to your lower body. Then take your right arm up and over and do your deepest side stretch yet. Big lengthening, stretching. We'll inhale to lift and take a twist. Left hand comes across over towards the right knee and turn and look past your right shoulder. Untwist, switch your legs. Your right leg comes out to the side, your left knee bends, and angle your thighs to the V seems appropriate for you. Take your right hand and slide your right hand down the top of your right leg and clamp your fingers onto the top of your leg, and then soften up the clamp a little bit and just let your hand rest there. Your arm is a prop for you. It's a brace to keep your spine long, your side body's long. And then take your left arm up and over, a big side stretch. Now it's okay if you come forward and tilt forward. It's a different kind of stretch than I'm suggesting. That might be the one that you want to do. Totally fine. But just be aware you can have this side stretch, rolling your chest open, or you could do this forward stretch, bringing your chest forward. See how you can subtly change the position of your body to suit yourself. Inhale to lift up. Take your left hand down to support you. Your right hand comes across over toward your left knee. Just use your arms like a guide as you rotate with the strength of your torso. Turn and look past your left shoulder. Untwist. Bring the soles of your feet together with your knees leaning out to the sides and hinge forward. You can move your sit bones back a little. Keep your spine long and hinge. We'll inhale to lift up. Stretch your legs out in front of you and scoot yourself towards the middle of the mat. Make sure you've got plenty of space behind you. We're rolling down onto our backs. So roll down. Once you get all the way down, bring your knees into your chest and draw circles with your knees. Keep your left knee hugged in toward your chest. I like to hold behind the leg. You can hold anywhere, front of the shin, maybe not hold at all. And take your right leg all long. You've got options here too. You can float your leg above the floor. You can let your leg rest on the floor. And then curl, head, neck, and shoulders up towards the center line of the body. Pulling in, stretching, breathing. Head comes down, switch sides, right knee in, left leg goes long, curl in. Stretch, lengthen. Head comes down, both knees come in toward the chest and curl. And head comes down, arms come long down by your sides, squeeze your glutes a little, plant your feet down, and lift your hips into bridge pose. Hips come down, straighten your left leg, and take your right knee across your body. Rolling back onto your back, straightening both legs, arms long down by your sides, rock your head a little bit. Left knee comes in, left leg comes across your body. Rolling back onto your back and lengthening your arms, turning your palms up. Finding the most appropriate position for you to rest in. It's not always lying on your back with your arms and your legs long. Maybe the more appropriate position for you is laying on your side or your belly, or maybe you want to put your legs up the wall. If you brought along and had a cushion or a blanket, you can use those. Keep giving yourself this opportunity for rest. I'm going to sit up, you stay where you are. Take these last few minutes of class to notice your whole body. You just moved a lot. Think of all that movement as a way to get all my wiggles out so I can actually maintain a little bit of stillness. But let yourself not have a goal right now. There's no intention, there's no goal, there's just breathing. That's it. You're just noticing and breathing and focusing on your well being and your rest. course, if you want a longer resting time, you can stay and rest for as long as you want to. As long as you have time and you have that desire, you can stay there. If you're ready, you can roll yourself over onto one side, pause there for a moment, and start to re-enliven, reawaken. You can breathe softly, you can wiggle around, move your fingers, your toes, your shoulders, your hips, your arms, and your legs. Gradually bringing yourself back up through seated. Bringing one hand to your upper chest and one hand to your stomach around your navel area. Encourage your breath. You can tilt your right ear to your right shoulder, your left ear to your left shoulder. And then wrap your arms a little more closely around your shoulders and your stomach, your side. Inhale to stretch your arms out to T, turn your palms up. Reach your arms up overhead, connect your palms together. Exhale and bring your hands down through the center line of your body, elbows tucked in at your sides, thumbs in front of your sternum, fingers pointing up. You can slightly tuck your chin, pull your face back a little. Acknowledge the time that you take to practice, the time that you take to work with and for your strength, your agility, your flexibility. The time that you take to warm up, to work, to stretch, and to rest. Take a big breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I'm Susan. It's delightful to be able to practice with you for Comeback Yoga. Please come again and see us. We are here live streaming every day on our YouTube channel. You can find out more information about us at comebackyoga.org. We welcome suggestions and comments. We appreciate you so much, and we're so glad to have these opportunities to practice together. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.